Hey everybody, DoctorSax here. It's a Saturday. It's 12:43 p.m. the 11th of May, 2024. And I got thoughts. I got a lot of thoughts. I got a lot of things going through my brain last week. Well, I'm honest, my whole life, but especially the last week. Just got done mowing my lawn, my front lawn anyway. Oof. Does anybody like mowing lawns? I have a push mower. I'm not one of those rich guys who can afford to sit on a sports lawnmower. I wish. I'm gonna have to make that leap one of these days, though, as I get even older. That's also on my mind. I recently had a birthday, end of April, and I am on the downward slope towards 60 now. So a lot of you don't even realize that I'm that old. You know, and I am old school gamer, like the original, like from the very beginning of video games. I've seen it all. Um. Anyway, so I'm been approaching burnout a little bit lately with the streaming. So I figured I better talk about it, put my thoughts online, on the stream, and on the YouTube video so you guys can give me some feedback. But I want to keep streaming. I'm going to keep streaming, but I'm going to change the way I stream. And a lot of that is just based on what I see, especially from the algorithms from like YouTube. YouTube does not push live streaming content. I've heard plenty of other content creators talk about it. So it's real. It's unfortunate, but it is the truth. And when you're a small streamer like I am, it's very difficult to get anywhere with view counts because people just aren't being fed the videos to even find out that you exist. It's similar to being a music composer or band or an author, of which I've done all of that. It's always the same song and dance. It's you can make the greatest stuff in the world, but if people don't know about it, it's not going to be seen or heard or interpreted, read, etc. Right? So it doesn't matter the quality of content you put out if it's not being pushed by these mega corporations, or if you're like it is with social media and streaming. If you're not the fortunate few that got in at the right time, they get the majority of the views, no matter what games come out, no matter what content is discussed, no matter what reactions are done. You're going to have like the top 1% are still going to get most of the results. They're going to get most of the views, and it's very hard to crack into that, right? To get a fresh face or fresh voice or fresh artist or whatever over the hump to actually get in with that 1%. Now, I'm not ever asking or anticipating. It was never my goal to be like in that grouping, but my goal is simple enough. It's just to like be able to do better and greater content and be creative full time, right? So a little background, I'm going to just go ahead and get it out there. Look, I'm an old professional musician from way back. We're talking like mid 80s onward. Stage, recording studios, you name it. Many different, bands that tried and didn't make it, that kind of thing. I played with some world-class players. I've sat down and had breakfast and hung out with names. Anyway, none of that matters. It's like, then I went on to the corporate world for almost a decade against, all my instincts. And I was part of that. I'm not going back. And when I left that, there are circumstances beyond my control, as it is for a lot of people. Somebody was like, why don't you write? Why don't you get to the novel you've always been wanting to do? And I was like, fine, maybe it is the time. And it happened. I made it. I'm a published author, etc. And if you don't realize that the book that's advertised on my stream every so often, that is my pen name. That is my book. I'm the author of that novel. So anything you do with that novel will actually benefit the channel, right? In some small way, I'd get, the kickback from Amazon or whoever you buy it from. It's available on all platforms. And if you don't know, it's called Songbird at Midnight. Anyway, by John McDonough. But beyond all that, it was recent events, I think, in V-Rising of all things, that really just kind of made me reevaluate what is it that I want from gaming? What is it that I want to bring to the channel? First and foremost, if people know you're not happy streaming, they're not going to be happy watching you, right? Well, one of the things I realized is I don't want to be around toxic players. I do not want toxicity in my stream. So when I ran into the toxic nature of some of the people that are playing on this Sweaty V Rising, it made me really reevaluate and go, you know what? I used to be like top tier PvPer. I was feared. I was legend in Ultima Online. I mean, literally, I'm not making this up. Like, I used to hang out with guys that literally knew how to crash the servers. Not because I did anything or I wanted to do it, but just because those are the kind of people, like one infamous name, Glimmer. If anybody ever played Ultima Online on Atlantic in the early days would know the name Glimmer. Well, I was a Vendetta. You're going to know that name too. Anyway, so it isn't like I can't be sweaty, man. I used to be the sweaty. I used to be the PvPer. I took on the inner circle in Ultima Online when everyone was in fear of them, and they offered me a position in their little alpha player group at release because I was chasing them down and killing them. And they didn't want any part of that after a while. They were like, who is this crazy man? No, let's get him in the group. And I basically told them to, screw. But that's because of their morality. But anyway. So now you get an understanding. Like, it isn't like I can't be sweaty, but at my age, I don't want to deal with that. I realize I do not have fun doing that. I want to be creative in my games. I prefer to be building things. I prefer to be taking my time, enjoying it, interacting with the audience, interacting with you, the viewers, in the chat, right? Hey, Pain Train, how you doing, man? So I'm just talking about I've been kind of burned out, and I'm just trying to get it out there to what I want for the future for the channel and to express some things that have been unsaid for a while. So I got into some details about that, about me for a minute. But the main thing is I want people to be assured that I'm going to keep streaming. I'm not quitting, but I'm not going to be allowing myself to get into games that just make me feel like wrong. So you're probably not going to be seeing me continue to play on this V-Rising PvP server, number one. I'll talk to Diamond about it, let him know, see what he feels. If he wants to continue playing, we can continue playing, but we could just move it to a chill server. We've been already invited to at least one PvE V-Rising server, and I wouldn't mind being able to play in V-Rising to, confront Dracula and all that. But I realize it isn't important to me to be PvPing with people that are going to be rushing, that they want to have wipes every 2 weeks, that they want to kill people in the middle of boss fights like happened to me the other day, which was a complete waste of my time and energy. That kind of poaching, that kind of thing, that toxicity is what I'm talking about today a little bit. That's what triggered me. That's what got me to think, man, I really need to talk about some of these things. Because at my stage in the game as a gamer and a streamer, I know now, I don't want any part of that. I don't need to deal with punks, in other words. They can have their own gaming. They can do whatever they want. I don't care. You guys, more power to you. Been there, done that. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like, what do I want from my stream, for my channel, for the viewership? I don't want people to have to deal with that either. And of course, a lot of you are probably aware, I'm a devout Christian too. So it's like, I don't get on to assault and attack people in games, right? I get on to make a challenge. I get on to play a game to win, sure, but I don't get on a game to be a dick. Okay, so that kind of thing. When I see that in the gaming, I don't want any part of it. I'm way beyond that in my life. So that's why I'm like saying, I'm realizing there are certain games I'm not going to play. There's certain games, even though they're good games, I'm not going to be able to play them a certain way just because I don't want that in my life. I don't want that kind of energy in my stream. I don't want that pervading the YouTube videos that I put out. So there it is. So like, you're going to be seeing more stuff that just frankly, I is either a fresh game, something I haven't played, something that I really like, something that brings me joy, so I can bring that to you. And that's really where we're going. I guess that's probably the real crux of what I'm talking about right now. Is that because it's not going to be a long stream right now. I'm probably going to stream an actual like game of some kind, you know, like Fallout 76 or something later today. But right now, I just wanted to get these things off my chest. Well, I can't play V Rising in a sweaty environment. That's just the main trigger point that happened last week. I realized about myself, I can't deal with toxic playership and people that are going to basically, for all intents and purposes, just be jerks. Opportunistic killing in the middle of boss battles and stuff like that, just to be an a-hole is what I just can't stand. So V Rising is going to take a back seat. I've given a lot of time to V Rising anyway. Plus, V Rising doesn't get the viewership. Plus, it was like I took time off of work for the first episode of that, and what did I get in return? You know, 1 like, 1 dislike. I got to be honest, that set me off. That really, not much gets into my craw, but that got in my craw. So I was like, okay, I see how it is. Fine, you know. When you're a small streamer and you give up a lot of time, and I bust my butt to be able to make the time to bring these streams as frequently as I do, and I don't say much about it, but it's like, especially at my age, I don't have a lot of energy. So when that kind of energy is fed back to me, of course it upsets a person like me. It's going to upset any streamer. It's going to make it that much harder to feel like you want to go and do it the next day, right? So that really made me start thinking and say, am I really going to stream this game for this kind of energy? No. Why would I do that? Why would I do that to the viewership, the chat? Why would I do that for myself? So anyway, that's where it's at. So V Rising, not a priority for me right now. There's a lot of other cool stuff. There's a brand new game, Abiotic Factor, that I'm looking at. I haven't even fired it up yet, but I bet that's going to be just a whole nother... It's going to be a whole nother level of fun because it's from just all the feedback I've been hearing. If it's anything like a meshing of Half-Life and Project Zomboid, it's like, how could that not be a cool thing to bring to the stream? So that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for now for the future. I'm not looking for sweaty PvP with people that don't have gamesmanship and sportsmanship and just basically don't behave them as gentle people. Like I don't need that. So I realize that about myself, and I've got to just be honest with you guys. So there it is. Doesn't mean V Rising is going to go away. It just means that if I play V Rising, it's not going to be in that kind of a thing. Don't expect me to be trying to be some high-level PvPer in V Rising. Even though I could do it, I don't want to do it. Sorry. Hey, Naked. So you're playing some V Rising? Well, look, I think the game's great on many levels. I'm not knocking the game. I'm not knocking the stun lock. This is simply my experience I'm talking about from last week and from previous times. Because I've played many hours of V Rising. And so I feel a little bit bad about not wanting to stream it, but that's why I'm talking about this today. I had to be honest. I've got to be honest, right? I can't be just like, well, I'm going to stream it just to stream it, beat my head against the desk and be like, okay, I'll make this work. No. Because then it's going to come through the stream that I'm not having fun. And I think it already has happened. I think people have already noticed it. So that's no way to stream. You should, when you get on a stream, especially if you're not making revenue from it, you're doing it because you love it. You should just play games that you love, that you're having fun with, and that people can vibe with. Oh, Abiotic you're talking about. So what do you think about Abiotic? Like it so far? Is it quirky. It looks quirky. It looks kind of Half-Life-ish. I like the look and the feel of what I've seen of just tidbits of people playing it. So, Black Wake, isn't that pirate game? I love pirate games, by the way. I've been thinking about what's that Assassin's Creed one? Is it Black Flag? I've heard great things about that. I'm not an Assassin's Creed guy, but I've heard really like that. That's the best one of all of them. Yeah. I might play some stuff like that. Again, the main thing for me, it drives me, is to be, as long as the game has like a good exploration element to it, or some kind of really grand strategy, or especially some kind of like building aspect in combination with like skilled fighting elements and things like that, or, you know, some kind of combat. I dig it. You know, I'm thinking of playing like Manor Lords or whatever it is. Not Manor Lords. What is it? I can't even keep these things straight. There's so many games coming out. But what's that one that just came out with the medieval town building? Anyway, there's so many good things that are out there that deserve to be played that won't make me insane and won't make me have to deal with toxicity and salt all the time. So, there's good humor in Abiotic. That's what it looked like to me. There's something about the look of it. It's scratching an itch in my brain. I can't quite place it, but something about the art style reminds me of something. Like, almost like from Mad Magazine or something. Anyway, that got my attention. Yeah, man, it's just like, you know, now at my age, Brand, if I don't write things down, I won't even remember it. That's so sad to say. Plus, I'm a little fatigued from mowing the front lawn, but anyway, I'm glad you guys are here to at least chime in, because that's what I was hoping for. I didn't want this just to be a solo thing or me just waxing about my woes and all that kind of crap. And it's like, I just wanted people to kind of get an idea and give me some feedback. And so when when this obviously, well, it's hitting YouTube as we speak, of course, because I simulcast, but, you know, hopefully some people will give me some feedback on stuff they'd like to see, or stuff that they liked that I've already done, or stuff they'd like to see return. I know there's a contingent of people that always are like, will you play some Subnautica? I might return to Subnautica. Okay. So that might happen. Once in a while, these things will pop back up on the stream, believe me. I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes as a streamer, you just have to have, I got to have some variety. I've got ADD, man. It's like, I can't always just do the same thing forever and ever and ever. It's like, when it just burns out, I just move on to something else, and then I come back later. Yeah, plus, isn't it, you can get up to 6 people in that game, right? So I could get, like, you know, Miss Time wants to play, and maybe, you know, Andrew, my dungeon master, and so, you know, maybe some viewers could play, you know, that kind of thing. Plus, it also has, I haven't checked, though. I have a feeling it might not be able to be a game that I can set up a dedicated server for, but I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't think the server would necessarily need a computer that has to be able to run, like, Unreal 5. But that Abiotic, I think, is running Unreal 5. Crazy as that sounds. It doesn't really look like it does, but at first glance. But anyway, supposedly it is. Heck, I hope my main machine, could run it well enough. I'm sure it can, but I'm sure I've already run Unreal 5 engine stuff to some point, I think. I'm trying to think what games maybe I've already run it. Maybe I haven't. I don't know. Does Elden Ring Unreal 5? Or is that under? I'm not sure. That's a good question. Let me look that up real quick. What engine is that anyway? Unreal. Or Elden Ring. Unreal. So you're running it okay on your laptop? Okay. Well, then probably running a dedicated software that they have for the server probably will work just as well as other servers that I've run, like Valheim, etc. V-Rising. It is Unreal 5. Okay. All right, so I'm not worried about Unreal 5 then. My system handles Elden Ring pretty well for as ridiculously old as this computer is. The thing is, though, I've made preparations when I purchased this computer to be able to upgrade. So I've been able to kind of upscale it without having to deal with the CPU or the motherboard and all that. But everything else, I've doubled the RAM. I've put in GPUs and all that stuff. That was all. I had left plenty of space. So it's 32, gigabytes of RAM that I prepared for really helped a lot. And then, of course, throw in a good, pretty much it's bottlenecks on my CPU. It's an old i7, but it's like third generation i7. Facts are facts, though. I mean, that's another thing I've got to look. I'm looking towards the future here. I got to get through some stuff. I had like a wedding that I went to recently out of state, and I've got to go to a funeral out of state next month. And I've got Gen Con coming up in Indianapolis, like in August. Anyway, but I got to start putting some money away, and I got to get a new streaming computer at some point. And then maybe I'll just push this, push the envelope more, because I can take this current machine, use that for streaming, and then buy a gaming computer is what I meant to say. And then everything will be even more professional, and more powerful, and I'll be able to handle anything. Because we got to be prepared, because Star Citizen, I don't know if you guys have been watching Summit, but man, he's like addicted to Star Citizen now. He's making so many new fans for Star Citizen that when that campaign, solo player campaign version of it hits maybe this year, it could just blow up. It could bring so much more revenue for even more than, because they've already had millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars for that game. It could push it to the next level, and then when the actual Star Citizen, MMO finally hits, I think it's going to meet expectations that I've hoped for, that I think it could be the big game changer. Like, it'll be like when World of Warcraft hit. It's going to be that big. It's going to be like, because a lot of people don't even know it exists. A lot of people don't really understand how much they've done with the game. And if they can just pull it together and just really just make it flow with, quality adventure style, exploration, plus the unknown of always contacting and coming in contact with players, it will be just crazy cool. It'll be like living in that world. That's how seamless it all is. So, hey, Darman, how you doing? Oh, it's going. I just I had to get some thoughts out today about the stream, about what I want to do in the future. I'm glad you dropped in, actually, because one of the things I admitted is I'm not really thinking I'm going to continue with the PvP server for V-Rising. So I was going to talk to you about that, see what you think. I mean, they're probably going to wipe every couple of weeks anyway, and at the speed that we're going, I don't really think like we're going to be able to make much headway. Probably chop things up and off before we can ever even encounter Dracula, etc. So if you want to keep playing V-Rising with me, we can keep doing that every once in a while. But like we've already been jumping over to Fallout 76, and I have other games I want to stream. I got to get back to doing just some solo streaming too, to test out things like Abiotic Factor and some other games that I actually have tucked away that I haven't even talked about, that I bought like on sale months ago. You know, that kind of thing I got to keep bringing to the stream. I'm struggling. I've just been going through some burnout and, you know, the working and driving and everything else and just coming back to stream is just, it's got to the point where I was like, okay, I can't be dealing with the sweaty boy toxicity of V Rising right now. Not making me feel good, and I don't want to bring that energy to the stream. So. Or I can't believe how much stuff you went through on Fallout 76 and didn't get any return, man. That is some bad rolling. You got some real bad RNG there. By the way, Doc, have you ever thought of reading a book and recording yourself reading it? Actually, I've had several people request me to do that pain. Another thing, I'll just let you guys know. I mean, I left behind a social media presence on Twitch, not Twitch, on Twitter, now X, right? From the author space on there where I had thousands of followers. That I had accrued in just like a year and a half. So I could go into the stories, but let's just put it this way. Had some experiences during publication of my book that set me back, that made me just reevaluate. And I just got off of Twitter almost altogether. I go to Twitter now every so often for the gaming, but I don't in fact, I haven't even logged into my author Twitter in months. Maybe a year now. It's been a long time. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of people were telling me, "Oh, you should read your own book." Now, my book is available on Apple Books in audio format, but they use an AI. They requested me to give them the rights, and it's terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. I don't know who directed that, but it's so bad. It's so bad I don't even talk about it. So, but it's out there. So if somebody wants an audiobook of my novel, you can find it on Apple. But, you know, all I can say is I'm sorry. I wish it was better. Whoever was overseeing the AI did a terrible job, period. Especially considering how good I know certain, like, I've heard better quality AI from like guys who put together mods for World of Warcraft than what they did with my book. So if that gives you any idea. But it was free, doesn't cost me anything. But of course, they get a kiss anytime that somebody purchases that. But whatever. The publishing industry is a whole nother discussion. Just like the music industry, they're all sus. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, the reason I'm streaming, and it happened, you know, I tried streaming about, what was it now? Now it's been a while, like 6 or 8 years ago I streamed, and I had a really good response. Like I used to get like 30 people in the channel, like on the regular. I used to have people like gaming with me on, you know, little games that I'd throw together, you know. We had a lot of fun. But back in those days, man, it was so hard. The rules were so much more stringent. And there was so much negative stuff going on with my life. I had to sell my house. I lost my corporate gig and all this other stuff. And then I had started streaming, trying to, like, you know, maybe, you know, I'm thinking maybe if I jump charge into this, maybe I can make it work. But I just ended up losing focus because I had to move and all this. Anyway, so I just never even thought about streaming again, seriously. And then other things happened. I had an accident. Anyway. You know, beyond all the woe is me stuff, several years passed before friends, when I moved here to North Carolina, they were like, you should stream again. I'm like, what, are you crazy? Why? Like, I'm not going to be able to be a big streamer or get a follow. But let me tell you, it's been so hard. I mean, it is so hard, and yet the rules are so lowered to like get in that it's amazed me that I'm still not able to even get anywhere. I'm just like, I should have stuck with it years ago. You know, but hey, hindsight is 20/20, right? Anyway, So I'm trying to just change my attitude today. I guess that's why I'm talking this stuff out loud, because, you know, I felt bad last week about the way I just obviously wasn't really vibing in the stream. I could tell. I wasn't being salty, but I wasn't really being myself. And I listened to some of the playback, and I was like, I'm just kind of phoning it in. I wasn't into the V-Rising PvP, and I knew it, and I was just not saying it. So now I'm saying it. Now I'm letting people know that, you know, going forward, I'm only going to stream stuff on the regular that I really love, that I know you guys will get entertained by, and I'm constantly, you know, I'm constantly amazed by the support that I have had from, you know, a relatively few amount of, you know, gamers, but I have had other streamers drop in and stuff, and they're the ones who keep saying you should keep streaming, you like your content, and so that keeps me going. You know, the fact that you guys are here, this is what keeps streamers going. It's like, you know, I don't do this just for myself. If I just game for myself, why would I get online, right? Yeah, we all go there sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, we all go through stuff, right? And plus, I mean, look, human, look around the state of the world right now. We all know it. We all feel it, right? This year, we're just dreading it, right? It's an election year. I'm just like, oh, brother, what's going to happen next? I don't need to be bringing or having to deal with negativity in my gaming streams, right? Like, I don't want to. If the next big bugaboo hits us, right, there are going to be more people available to watch my streams. God forbid, but it might happen. I'm like, look, I got to be in a good state when people come to my stream. I don't want people to come into my stream and getting negative vibes from my stream when they're probably already being like, the reason they're gaming is to get away from the real world crap, right? And that's what I do, man. I get home, I throw on a game. It's because I don't want to think about all those idiots I just had to deal with out on the highways, you know, and stuff like that, you know. Heck, dude, I almost got killed twice again this week. I mean, it's so funny. I was coming out of a Wendy's? I think it was a Wendy's. And some woman just about ran me over. She went across 3 speed bumps. And I just kind of stopped and looked at her, and I know she was just like, "Oh my God, I almost killed this old man." I was like, and I just walked across, shaking my head. And then she just really creeped forward real slow. And I'm like thinking to myself, what possesses people? You got to think, folks, when you're out there in the world, slow down. It isn't that important that you get somewhere that fast that you are literally going to splatter somebody and their kids or whatever. I saw a horrible video. Some of you probably saw this. Man, and it stayed with me for a week while I was out doing deliveries and stuff. Now, every time I cross a street now, I look both ways, and I'll do it twice more, because I watched this one video where this mother and daughter just got literally deleted by some guy who just sped through an intersection downtown somewhere, and they were instantly gone. And it's like, dude. And I deal with this every week. I'm constantly watching out for other people. And then when I come home, that's when I stream. And I've dealt with that for like 3 hours or 4 hours. It's like, anyway, the sacrifices I've been making behind the scenes, I don't usually talk about, but it's like, this has been going on for quite a while now, like a year and a half or more of me just doing what I got to do to keep these, you know, keep the time available to even get the streams up, you know, every day. So if I don't show up to the stream for a week, you'll know what's happened. I'm just telling you. Oh, knock on wood. Praise Jesus. Hopefully that's not my end, but you know, it's already several times I've come very close to people wiping me one way or another. It's insane. Anytime you drive in a big city or on a highway now, it's just, you know, you got to watch out. You've been hit a few times while on rollerblades and a bike. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, man. It's like even here in my little backwoods area, there's not really a good area for me to like even just take a walk, because the people here Well, I'll tell you, just okay, could go along with this. So I was on my way out to do deliveries. Was it Friday? And there was a young cat. I don't know if it was somebody's cat or it was just a wild cat or whatever. But he was interested in something in the road, right near the end of my road, near the stop sign. And he was just oblivious. This cat was just too cool for his own good. I honked at him. He just kind of looked at me like, yeah, what? And I was like, dude, are you deaf? I was like, get out of the road, you know? And then I was stressed out on the way to do my deliveries. I'm like, oh man, if I come home and that poor cat is squished, because people around here, you got some rednecks around me, dude. They drive like maniacs down this road. And I was like, man, all it's going to take for some chucklehead to come along at, 80 miles an hour. And that's the end of that cat. Luckily, though, I said some prayers. I came home and there was no cat to be seen anywhere. So all's good, I guess. He probably did his business and got out of there. And it is a bit of a lonely stretch. So most of the time there isn't anybody to worry about. Well, when they do come down, you got to worry. Anyway, that kind of thing. It's like, I just am appalled at just some of the drivers around here. That's pretty much true everywhere. Hell, when I took that trip for the wedding, I went to Nashville. Oh my God. Whew, Nashville. I saw 4 accidents in 3 days. I'm like, come on, folks. And I'm driving on those twists. I don't know if you've ever driven around parts of the Carolinas. When you hit the mountainous areas, some of those roads are treacherous. You're dealing with, 18-wheelers on these twisty, turny, hilly, roadways. It gets crazy. I had one semi almost swerve into me at one point on a mountain road. I thought that was going to punch my ticket. I'm not gonna make it to the wedding, but luckily he got it under control and I got out of there. And I'm just in a little 4-cylinder. I got no, when I get into those kind of roads where I got to go up and down, that gets really bad for my car. That's when I'm really cursing, going, I should have got a 6-cylinder or an 8-cylinder. Yeah, well, there's pretty much anywhere around the Carolinas and Tennessee, there's some crazy drivers. I saw a lot more of that in Tennessee, though, than I have in the Carolinas. I think it's just by some miracle that there aren't more accidents out on the stretch of 29 out here, because I'm in the Greensboro area. I don't live in Greensboro, but I drive a good chunk of miles to get to Greensboro around the regular. But yeah, but the drivers are crazy. But ever so often, yeah, I saw one. I got off at I was taking a trip to the airport to pick up a friend, and it was in Raleigh. And no, was it Charlotte? It was Charlotte. So that was a hike, and it was about a 2-hour drive, or whatever. Hour and a half. 2 hours? Somewhere there. I think it was about 2 hours from my house, hour and a half from his house. Anyway, and yeah, some guy had flipped his car over right at the exit. Luckily, it didn't block me. I was able to keep going, but it was like, it must have just happened. And by some miracle, this guy was walking around and apparently unhurt. I saw another one where one had flipped on its top on the side of the highway on 29, and it caught fire. So yeah, I mean, when you drive enough, you're going to see these horrible things, unfortunately. But again, it looked like maybe by some miracle, I think somebody had pulled that woman out of the car. But that was at a glance, with emergency vehicles and all that I didn't know the whole story. But these things happen way too frequently. But yeah, I've seen plenty of terrible stuff. I mean, one time I was on the way to a gig when I was a young musician in Florida, and a motorcyclist was a victim of a hit and run. And I stopped with a couple other guys, and it was cold. So it must have been probably November or something. I don't think it was like the heart of winter, but it was getting cool. And it was at night, and I was on the way to a job. And I stopped, and I had to make a decision. This guy was like choking on his own blood, and I was like, and everybody was standing there like staring. I'm like, dude. So I, took his helmet off, threw a blanket over him from the back of my car, and then I was like, look, man, I got to go. I got a job to do. This is the reality of being a musician. Like, you know, barely could make ends meet as it was. And I just pray that that guy might have survived, but I never did find out. Never did see it. This is before the internet and all that kind of stuff. So, or the regular internet, anyway. We were in a Voyager bus traveling to Rhone from Montreal one Christmas, and it hit a moose. Oh my. We have a lot of deer around here. The poor moose had to be euthanized. Yeah. Yeah, I'm always grateful that I haven't hit any deer, because they get hit quite a bit around here. And I always think, man, what's it like smashing into one of those deer, man? It's got to be terrifying. Especially because it almost always happens at night. That's why I always tell people, don't travel, you know, long distances at night on the highways if you can avoid it. It's just too damn dangerous, especially in like the East Coast. You're going to, you know, there's deer and they're going to be stupid. Deer are just, they're not very bright and they're going to do stupid stuff and they will jump out into the highway, etc. So, yeah, you'll see roadkill all the time out here. So I imagine it's similar up in Canada. God knows you guys have the wild country up there. I think, isn't that one guy, there's a YouTuber. He's got like a couple million followers now. God, I can't remember the names of channels. Anyway, but he's got a log building cabin channel and all that. It's beautiful country up there. Cold? Good Lord, looks cold. Too cold for me. I could barely handle New York when I go up to visit in the winters. Yeah, but just really good. It's definitely God's country up there. Gorgeous, gorgeous place. Yeah, at least you guys are geared to deal with the winters. You got to be born into that kind of thing. Yeah, me, I was a Florida boy, right? So, I mean, I'm from the North originally, my family and all that, but like most of my life, I've lived in the South. But then I lived in Texas, and I had, you know, spent a long time in Texas, almost 20 years, and I got out of Texas, and I'm glad because man, Texas is brutally hot. Holy, we're talking 114, 117 degrees sometimes. Did get up to, and then at the final points where I lived there, I lived in the deserts, like in the center of the state, where you'd see like cow skulls and stuff on the side of the highway, crap, you know, that kind of thing. You're born on the coldest day of the year. Yeah, see, there you go. So it's relaxing if you're not freezing to death. Yeah. Just like, you know, warm weather and hot weather is great if you got some, you know, a pool nearby or an ocean to jump into or something. It's not so bad, but Texas is a real dry heat. Arizona's probably worse from what I hear, but I don't know. I've never spent any time in Arizona. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know, Darman. We could probably jump ship if you want to, like, who was that cat that came into my streams? Anyway, somebody invited us to a PvE server that he's running. I don't know. But we could always jump to some other thing. Or we could just go to an official server, to the ones that wipe every 3 months or something, and play on those. And there would be some PvP, but it won't be anything like as salty and toxic as what's going on there with Nazoris. But yeah, by the way, go support Nazori. I haven't seen him stream for a day or so, which is kind of odd. So I hope maybe he's kind of like, maybe he got sick of the toxicity too. I don't know, but that's a server that we're on actually. Is Nazori, so let's give him support. He's a good guy, family man. Got his animals and all that stuff, and he's just, you know, really, really knowledgeable. He's an IT. I'm pretty sure he's an IT guy like me, so I think he doesn't even. In fact, that's his main gig. He doesn't need to stream if he doesn't want to. Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll play or not play. I just don't. I I feel bad when I have other people playing with me, and then I start double thinking or second guessing myself, and then I feel like, well, I should I keep going because of the other players, or should I be honest? And I'm just being honest. Like, I don't feel it. I'm not feeling it, man. I'm just not feeling it there. Because I mean, also, I don't like. Here's the thing with one heart, really. It's too. And oh, did you see it? The population? They increase it to 100. Holy mackerel! So they're going to be vamps everywhere. And if it's anything like we already ran into, I'm out. I'm not dealing with little scrubs who are going to try to kill me while I'm boss fighting and stuff. I'm just, 125. Well, more power to them, man. I hope they enjoy it. That's not what I'm looking for. If we, if we could have more fun with the actual castles and have a little more chill, I'd probably be down for it. But there's other games to play. I can't be competitive in that kind of environment. I would have to live, breathe, and eat V Rising 24 hours a day, not have a job, that kind of thing. Yeah. Plus, we're pretty casual with our duo anyway. We're not trying to be like, super PvP duo or anything like that. It's like, if we were, I would insist, of course, you get a headset, that kind of thing. But I'm not in a position to insist anybody do anything. I just want people to have fun. So there's that too. So it's like, I'm not like, not trying to be Mr. PvP God. Not a, I got nothing to prove at this point. Let's put it that way. Let those guys do whatever they want to do. Like, it's just not. I'm being honest. It's not what I want. So I have other games like this abiotic factor thing that are looking cool. I want to like be able to jump ship when I want to jump ship and be able to come back to V Rising and have the castle be there, right? Not have to be worrying about, oh well, it's wiped, because you took a week to do whatever, because I'm gonna have to go out of town next month anyway for a weekend again, that kind of thing. So considerations. You were looking at headsets today. I'm amazed you don't have a headset, but no pressure. I mean, but get yourself a quality one that'll last. The main thing is in a headset, you want one that'll be comfortable. Make sure you get one that's comfortable. Because if you get one that makes your head hurt, your ears hurt, trust me, it's like, ooh, yeah, it's not fun. I mean, even if it's not, even if it's not PvE server per se, if there's some PvP, it won't be anything like this brutal, sweaty, 125 pop, wipe every 2 weeks situation that's going on there with the Zories. I mean, that's just not working. That's not going to work for me and you, I don't think. And I should say, I know it's not going to work. No, no, no. You need a headset. There's your first mistake. People that I love when people are like, I just need a microphone. I already deal with one of my buddies in the D&D group who has a microphone on his desktop, and it drives me freaking insane. I'm gonna have to have a conversation with him because he's one of these folks that insists on having like voice activation and all that, and it's like, dude, no, 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 no. But yes, you definitely need push to talk. At least you know that much. That's good, because he doesn't want to use push to talk, and I'm like, dude, I can't tell you how many times in the past my gaming groups have had conversations with that that one guy that'll be like, oh, I don't want to have to put, dude, you gotta use push to talk, man. It's just common courtesy. We don't want to hear your kids. We don't want to hear your wife yelling at you. We don't want to hear your dogs. We don't want to hear your radio. Oh, anyway. Yeah, because believe it or not, I use a headset for this, but see, my headset's such good quality. The microphone quality is better than most guys that use these high, you know, those big, giant microphones. Well, but I have a Sennheiser, so German engineering all the way, man. Of course, Sennheiser is what I use as a musician, too. Well, that's why you got to get a headset like I have, which actually are designed. They have the open air headset, right? So you actually can hear the outside world to some degree, and there's like they're open, like they got like grids on them, so you get air circulating and all that. I can wear my headset for hours and hours, and not even know it. You really should probably check out probably Razer. Razer headsets are good. Sennheiser headsets are great. And I'm sure there's some others, but you could probably go look at some streamers like Summit or whatever, and you know, and ask what these guys are using. A lot of times they'll have like, you know, exclamation equipment or whatever. And you drop that in the chat and it'll tell you, you know, exclamation headset, whatever. It'll tell you what brand these guys are using, etc. Yeah, I have a blue here actually set up separately, hanging on a boom and all this stuff that I never turn on. But it's set up, this is actually set up in case I ever, I don't know, got inspired and I wanted to play my saxophone or something. There's even reverb I set up on the OBS software for it and all that stuff, and I tested it out a year ago, but I never have done it because I don't even practice my horn anymore. Like, not that I couldn't go grab it right now and probably make people go ooh ah, but it's like, you know, for me, I'm not versed at all. I haven't been playing out. I haven't been doing anything. I don't feel inspired to play. It's sad but true. Yeah. Yeah, what do you got, an XLR type mic? Because honestly, probably down the road, that's what I would do if I wanted to change up microphones. I'd have to set up an XLR adapter, and I've got a good sound card in this computer, so it'd probably be fairly easy to do. I just would have to get an adapter. But there's no real great reason to, because I mean, like I say, like it's about positioning the headset. Like, you know, I put this mic isn't even like in front of my mouth. This is below my chin, believe it or not. So, but I know how to use filters and things like that. My voice has been haggard as hell lately, though, man. But it's sounding stronger today, probably. But there was a period there for a week or two this past month. I was struggling. Trombone player. You did it for a girl. Yeah, we did. Musicians. Guys play music or sing or whatever a lot of times because of that attention. I'm no different. I got too much attention as a sax player, if I'm being honest. But now I'm a hermit. I stay to myself. I don't play out. I would if there was a decent, but man, the music scene in this country is so bad now. I can't even find like a qualified blues band or something even just to kind of just jam with or something. It's just not what it used to be. Live music took a real hit during the bug scare. And it was already on shaky ground. Yeah, so what kind of mic are you using, Payne? Oh, this is a different account for Payne, I think. Charles. Yeah, I sing too, but it's not my main thing. I started singing decades ago. It all started one day when I walked into a band audition, and they were looking for a sax player, but they were like, "Can you sing?" And I was like, "Sure." I was like, "Hey man, if it pays the bills, yeah, I'll sing." And that's how that started. Luckily, though, I'm Italian and Irish, and we can all sing, apparently. Who knew? Anyway, glad you guys are here bouncing info back and forth with me. I'm glad I got this stuff off my chest. For those of you on YouTube or catching this later, leave your comments. It helps. And also, don't forget to like the videos, because just like other people that create content for YouTube that do live videos will tell you, it's like YouTube doesn't push live streams at all. And if people don't thumb up the videos, they'll practically not be seeing. So this explains a lot of the reasons that I'm struggling, because as much as I stream, the algorithms don't push the content. And we already know that the situation on Twitch is what it is, but only the top 1% get seen most of the time anyway. You know, all the people below that, you know, you're lucky anybody even finds you. I don't even know how people find me half the time. Blue scene here in Montreal is still swinging, but not like 20 years ago. Well, at least you got one. There is the trouble is, you know, like Greensboro, a lot of people don't know, like, has a really big music history from the past. Like John Coltrane, the famous tenor sax player and composer, jazz musician. He's from High Point, which is right outside of Greensboro, and there's even a statue of him there. So that's how deep a lot of the old jazz and blues stuff goes around this area that I moved to. But yeah, I run into people all the time, and they're always, you know, trying to find me something to break into, and get my name back out there and get me inspired to play, but it just doesn't happen. So one of these days it might, right? You know, and I'll let you guys, you know, I'll let everybody know if I'm out playing, and who knows, maybe if I do play something, I'll put something on the stream or something at some point. But, you know, I don't know, man. It's that point where it just, if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. I'm not sweating it. So you just go through phases. You get to be as old as me and Diamond, and you go through phases in your life. So can you sing one line from your favorite song? Are you talking to me? I don't know. Do I have a favorite song? I'm not really, like I say, I'm not really a singer. I don't really have like songs that come to mind. No, I probably not ready to embarrass myself to try to sing anything off the top of my head right now, but I can sing the living crap out of Star Spangled Banner, believe it or not. But and that's not easy to do, I guess, by all standards. But that's something I'm going to do right now on the stream. If we're at a baseball game or something, I'd probably do it. I used to play mainly saxophone with groups. We had a good rock band one time. I was in Orlando for 3 years. 3 very strange years. Don't ever live in Orlando, by the way. Whew. You can visit Orlando. You can go to Disney World, Universal, all that stuff, but it's a whole other world. We live there. It's like nothing but transients, nothing but tourists and crazy traffic. Yeah, not recommended. Probably the worst place I ever lived, to be honest. But for playing and performing, it was fun. Yeah, I was there with a rock band called ISIS, believe it or not. This is long before the terrorist operation. And we used to do some crazy cool stuff. We used to do some Yes and Toto, Supertramp. I mean, we did stuff that most people wouldn't even try. We did like 6-part harmonies because everybody could sing. Lost touch with all those cats though, because they were rock and rollers, and I was like the jazz guy, Latin jazz, blues, R&B dude. You know, of course, I was a sax player, but I did a lot of rock stuff. I was that sax player who would get yanked into rock bands because I had to look and all that. Anyway, um, yeah, but some of those things were a lot of fun. I remember doing some of the Supertramp stuff, especially because, believe it or not, at one point, even like I even had a clarinet still back in those days, and I did like some clarinet stuff like nobody ever did live. And at some, some backwater. Actually, one place we played regularly wasn't really a backwater. It's a pretty big club with two different live stages inside of it and all that. But, um, yeah, that was definitely funny. I remember one time the sound guy, in fact, the sound engineer for the club, he was recording us and I didn't know it, and he was playing something back one day, and I'm like, "Well, who's that?" And he's like, "That's you, dummy." And I was like, "What?" Like, oh man, I should have got those recordings because, if I'm being honest, yeah, some of my best work was probably my work in rock bands with my tenor sax. But anyway. Sax Squatch. I am not familiar with sax. What is sax squatch? I mean, I know what Sasquatch is. Hey, hi, love. Andrew, what are you doing? What is sax squatch? You got me curious now. Maybe I'll look it up here. Yeah, Orlando. Fun to visit for going to hobby towns and stuff, but for living. Let me look this up. Sax squatch. Sax Squatch is touring. Oh, they got a website. Literally a Sasquatch playing a saxophone on this. That's hilarious. There's not much detail here on this thing. Got a Instagram. Let's see. Breakfast in America was a good album. Yeah, we did tunes from Breakfast in America for sure. Oh my gosh. This is literally a Sasquatch looking dude playing saxophone. What am I even looking at right now? 350,000 followers. How have I never heard of this thing? Go to Instagram.com, Saxsquatch. Check out these crazy pictures. Unreal. It's almost like I'm back in Fallout 76. They should put him in Appalachia with the other cryptids. Is that special effects on his saxophone, or is that some kind of LED setup he's got going there? What is that? Look at this picture. What the heck? He got some kind of crystal saxophone or something? Like, or is that just some Yeti yodeler? Hey, there's room for anything if this kind of thing gets 350,000 followers. That is hilarious. I gotta follow this just to like. I have no idea what it sounds like yet, but anyway. It's entertainment of some sort, and the kids seem to be vibing with it. Trying to see what kind of horn he's playing. Can't believe this guy actually plays in this costume. That can't be comfortable. Let's see if he got a YouTube. $274,000 subscribers on YouTube. I've never heard of this guy till today. He can actually play. There you go. Some old jazz cat who came up with a shtick and it works for him. Hey, more power to him. There you go. That's what it takes, I guess, to get out there and play nowadays. You got to dress up like a Sasquatch. If it works, it works. He's got people paying for tickets. Somebody's making a documentary about him. Probably more than one person. This, I would guess. Looks like all good fun, and he's got some chops. Well, there you go. You never know what you're going to find out when you do a Just Chat, I guess. I'll have to definitely check it out later. Maybe I'll see him one of these times if he ever comes through. I've never heard of him in these parts. Let's see. They got a... He's heading to Illinois, Cleveland, Ohio, West Virginia, Snowshoe, West Virginia in June. That's not too far from us. That's about as close as he's going to get. Adams, Tennessee in October. I'm doing all right, brother. I'm just, I had to get on here and state some thoughts and feelings and all that. I was getting pretty burnt out and realized after I got done mowing the lawn, I need to express myself a little bit. I don't do these Just Chats usually, so this is rarity for me. But I'm glad I did. I'll probably get off here soon. But yeah, I was just feeling a little guilty about my feelings about V-Rising, the current setup that we got, all that. I don't really want to keep doing the current server that we're on. And it's for good reason. I just not vibing with it. And I've got other stuff I want to play. Plus we can take V-Rising and put it on something a little more chill. Get to play it when we want to play it. And have more fun with the the game that way, because it's got to be something I can come back to. I can't be rushing through something in like, 2 weeks and that kind of deal. So V Rising won't go away because I like the game, but it isn't like I'm not in love with it or anything. And I just realized I don't want to deal with the toxic PvP elements that I was having to deal with last week. So it wasn't as cool of a thing as I was hoping it would be. I guess that's what it comes down to. So, and also I just been, struggling to get this channel seen and heard and all that. And some of the energy needed to be changed. So that's why I want to get out here today and actually chit chat with people, let everybody know what I'm thinking, and get some feedback. Like I say, for those of you who see this on the YouTube, please comment. Let me know what you have appreciated or you would like to see in the future or whatever. I'm always open to what the viewers have to say and what you guys are thinking. So anyway, I think I am going to actually call it there. I need to make some lunch, but I just wanted to get out on the stream some of the stuff that's been on my mind. And sometimes you got to do like a palate cleanser, right? This is kind of what this is right now for me. I'm just kind of like, it's not easy trying to deal with these platforms and trying to get in good with them where they offer you, affiliate status or anything like that. So it's going to be a grind, but I'm going to keep streaming regardless. And but I just wanted people to know that the struggle is real. It isn't like I am not working hard towards trying to make this channel grow. It just is very hard to make it grow. And I need, viewers like you guys to continue dropping in once in a while to keep giving me the positive energy and the motivation, because otherwise it's like, why am I even doing this kind of thing, right? So I appreciate that sentiment, Navarro. Thank you. And everybody else that dropped in, thank you very much. And those of you who are checking this out later on the VODs or the YouTubes, thank you also. Anyway, I feel better. I'm going to be streaming something later today for sure. Probably some Fallout 76 or something, if I'm being honest. Something chill for a Saturday. And we'll just get back to what we always do around here. Thanks for hanging, everybody. Thanks for telling me about some crazy stuff, especially Sasquatch. That's a trip. I hope to see you guys again soon. And like I say, there'll be an actual stream coming up later today. So if you're around, cool. If not, I'll catch you in the next go round. You guys have a great rest of your day, rest of your Saturday. Take her easy.